Hello everyone, Michael Voris here to tell you the download is back. I'll be on regularly with Christine Niles and Simon Rafe and a fourth special guest host from the CM crew. We're going to have in-depth discussions on the big news of the day and, of course, indispensable analysis from a Catholic perspective. So don't miss the download premiering on YouTube at 5 p.m. Eastern every weekday. God love you.
Do people know you're Catholic? I'm Simon Rafe, and I'm taking the hard line. Welcome back to Hardline, the show I like to think you pay for, but really I know it's all because of Forward Boldly. I'm your host, Simon Rafe, and joining me later will be my producer, Joe Enders, to have a companionable chat about today's subject. And after that, I'll be having a gentleman's chat with the man who speaks more languages than were ever spoken in the Habsburg Empire, David Nussmann. But for now, happy Easter. If you're watching this the day it comes out, that is, it's the second Sunday of Easter, the last day in the octave of Easter, Divine Mercy Sunday, or as it used to be known, Low Sunday. Lots of different names, but it is part of the Easter season. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Of course, if you're watching this after it premiered, it's probably still Easter, to be honest with you. You are a diligent person. You aren't that behind with your shows. There are 50 days of Easter, from Easter Sunday proper all the way to Pentecost. That's like nearly a seventh of the year. 7 weeks, 7 Mondays, 7 Tuesdays, 7 Wednesdays, a number of Thursdays and Fridays. I haven't worked out how many there are of those. Put it in the comments if you have. 7 Saturdays, and just to confuse you, 8 Sundays. I mention all that not to make some kind of point about how Easter ends on Pentecost, which is 7 times 7 days later, a week of weeks, so to speak. I mean, that is cool and all, and you should know it, and you know what? We'll kind of come back to that. But maybe you're watching it at some other time of the year. Maybe it's Christmas season, or Lent, or Advent. Maybe it's ordinary time. Ordinary in ordinary time doesn't mean dull or boring or not special. It means the weeks follow in order, the first week, second week, third week, and so on. Of course, on the face of it, ordinary time doesn't seem as special as the other seasons. The church isn't celebrating the birth or resurrection of Christ. She isn't solemnly preparing for this in her liturgies and readings and devotions. But there are saints' days, there are feasts and memorials, there are very few ferial days when there is no special devotion to a holy man or woman who has gone before us. And even if that is the case on a particular day, there are ember days and vigils and private devotions. Each month in the calendar has a special focus, a special devotion. The Sacred Heart in June, the Immaculate Heart in August, the Rosary in October. And speaking of the Rosary, if you're really looking for something to make the day unique and you can't find anything else, well, each day of the week has a specific set of mysteries to pray on your beads. You pray the Liturgy of the Hours, right? Morning and evening prayer. If you don't, you should, and you can, very easily, with us, live streamed at our website at 8 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. Eastern every weekday. All you need is the breviary, the Christian prayer book, which we sell in the store. We give you the page numbers and people to pray along with. If you can't make daily Mass, and let's be fair, most people can't. If you can't make daily Mass, you can certainly make daily prayer. And you can make it daily liturgical prayer. Prayer with a structure, with a cycle, with form and pattern. Within each week and within each day itself, with morning, daytime, evening, and night prayer, there is a structure, a cycle, a form, and a pattern to the Liturgy of the Hours. If you want, you can do more or even all of those hours of prayer. There is a structure, a cycle, a form, and a pattern to Catholic prayer and the Catholic life. There are multiple layers of structure, cycle, form, and pattern. It appeals to us as the creatures we are, human beings, forever caught between two conflicting impulses. We desire novelty, something new, something different, something exciting. But we also desire comfort and stability and routine. And so God, who is quite a bit cleverer than you or I, has squared this unsquarable circle. He gives us a cycle of feasts and fasts. There is always something new coming, always something different, and yet it is the same feast or fast as before. Of course, it's important to note that there are feasts and fasts. We abstain from meat on Friday. We have a day of leisure and recreation every Sunday. We have seasons of fasting and seasons of feasting. A Catholic doesn't try to live his life perpetually on the extremes. He has balance and experiences the full gamut of human emotion from celebration to mourning. You know all of this, or you should. If you don't, quote unquote, know it in some intellectual formal way, you could articulate to someone asking you. You know it instinctively, habitually in your heart. You have this general sense there is a form and a structure to Catholic life. You know there are feasts and fasts. You know there is always something going on. You know the liturgy follows a series of cycles throughout the day, weeks, seasons, and years. You know this. Does everyone else? I mean, some people do, obviously. Your fellow Catholics do. People like the girl from the comparative religions class you went on a total of 2 dates with because Persephone, the boho chick from the philosophy class, and you were going through a rough patch. It was your fault. You were high-handed and rude. You apologize later. Anyway, someone who's taken a comparative religions class or just clicked around Wikipedia during a bout of insomnia knows about the Catholic liturgical cycle, feasts and fasts, the structure of daily prayers and devotions. People know it. But do they know it because of you? Now, it's no secret that most people don't know it. At least they don't know the details of it and would be surprised by them. We're all well acquainted with the fact Christmas decorations go up immediately after Thanksgiving, or even after Halloween in some places. They go up, all the Santas and the reindeer and the candy canes and the trees and the twinkly, twinkly lights and the grotesque giant inflatable things. They all go up long before Christmas, and in many cases long before Advent. They go up then and they come down the morning of the 26th. It is a depressingly common sight to walk through your neighborhood on St. Stephen's Day and see a bunch of kids riding the bikes they got the day before around a slalom course made of the detritus of discarded Christmas trees, wrapping paper, and expanded polystyrene packaging from small electrical appliances made in a factory in the slums of East Beijing. Christmas is a season. It doesn't begin after Thanksgiving, it begins after Advent, and it runs for at least 12 days, and if you really wanted to get into the spirit of the thing, to Candlemas in early February. The same is true for Easter. Not that it runs until early February, because that would be excessive, but it's not over once the ham is eaten. It lasts for 50 days until Pentecost. The world doesn't get that. It also doesn't get particular feasts like Pentecost or Annunciation or the Days of Saints. It doesn't get Friday abstinence from meat or fasting on Ember Days. It doesn't understand the blessings of throats on St. Blazes Day or the eating of goose on Michaelmas or starting to prepare the Christmas pudding on Stir-Up Sunday. On Ash Wednesday, it thinks you've got something on your forehead there. It offers to lick its handkerchief and scrub it off. At least it did before COVID. The world doesn't get it because we Catholics don't get it. We don't show it. We don't unapologetically live our faith. Oh, we might vote our faith or preach our faith. We might dutifully pull the lever for the good candidate, or, more likely, the lesser of two evils. We might protest and speechify and argue and harangue. But we don't seem to live our faith. Not obviously, not proudly, not unapologetically. We need to do those things. To not eat meat on Fridays. To keep our Christmas decorations up until Epiphany or later. Heck, how about just not putting them up on Black Friday? Keep the Ember Days. Celebrate the lives of the saints with special meals and prayers and devotions. Live your faith proudly, unapologetically. It is your heritage, after all. Don't be obnoxious about it, but don't be a shrinking violet about it either. Everyone else out there is publicizing their traditions, their beliefs, making sure they are visible. You don't have to stand on a street corner and pray the rosary like a five-alarm siren, but maybe hold it in your hand as you walk along and quietly pray. Make the sign of the cross when you pass a cemetery or a Catholic church. Bow your head at the name of Jesus. And this isn't just for the public either. For those of you blessed enough to have families, children, you want to teach them the faith? You want to evangelize? We evangelize by showing the goodness of Catholicism, the wonders of Catholicism, the cultural heritage that can be theirs. Pray the liturgy of the hours each day and learn the cycle of the year, the cycle of the saints. If you want something a little more fun, a little less liturgical, why not try eating with the saints? We have this great book full of recipes themed around particular holy men and women. Teach your kids to cook, or teach yourself to cook, I guess. I don't judge. Cook while learning about your Catholic faith. Live your Catholic faith. How many people know you're Catholic? And if they do know you're Catholic, do they think it's merely just a cultural thing? Just that you go on Sundays to the town's ugly 1960s brutalist monstrosity with the saccharine slogans on the marquee and/or the 1800s Gothic revival edifice perpetually shrouded in scaffolding and with the minivans in the parking lot? Do they think you are Catholic because you refuse to participate in the LGBTQIMOUSE events in the office, and that's it? The Catholicism those people know you ascribe to is not the full story of Catholicism, and it's not one that is attractive, alluring, interesting. Remember, God created the cycle of feasts and fasts, of joy and mourning to appeal to our fundamental human nature. Your Catholicism is attractive, is alluring, is interesting insofar as it is a lived faith, a faith with an expressed culture and heritage that is different and out of the ordinary and remarkable. It is appealing when people see what you are doing and they are drawn to it because it awakens something they've forgotten they need and never realized they didn't have. Do people know you are Catholic? They should, and there's only one way to do it. Thank you for watching Hardline. If you're enjoying the show, please go to churchmilitant.com for the whole episode. You must be a premium member, so to sign up, go to churchmilitant.com/go premium.